Are you over 60, doing your best to eat well and stay active, but still feeling your muscles slipping away? What if I told you that a single meal, one breakfast, could begin to reverse that decline in just 24 hours? Today, I want to share with you a breakthrough approach to fight sarcopenia, age-related muscle loss, and reignite leg strength naturally. Let me open with what many people do not realize. After age 60, we begin to lose muscle mass at a rate of about 1 to 2% per year. That may not sound like much at first, but over a decade it becomes profound. The consequences are far more than cosmetic. Weak legs mean reduced mobility, increased fall risk, diminished independence, and a cascade of metabolic decline. Worsening insulin resistance, higher fat accumulation, slower energy, weaker recovery. In short, your muscle is your metabolic engine. Lose too much, and many downstream systems suffer. Here is what's really going on inside your body as you age. Your muscles become resistant to the usual signals that stimulate rebuilding, a phenomenon called anabolic resistance. Hormones such as growth hormone, insulin, and testosterone decline. Your liver, often burdened by fat or inflammation, loses metabolic efficiency. Your insulin response becomes blunted. In that environment, even a protein shake or workout may deliver only a half-hearted signal to rebuild. Your body tends to favor storing or repairing vital organs over rebuilding muscle. But this is not a hopeless story. The good news is that we can beat this process if we intervene smartly with timing, nutrients, and targeted stress exercise. What the research now shows is that protein timing matters, and breakfast is emerging as a potent leverage point. A recent intervention study gave milk protein in the morning versus evening and saw increases in muscle mass and strength in older adults. PubMed plus another set of data shows that distributing more of your protein load into breakfast and lunch is associated with higher total daily protein intake and better muscle outcomes in older adults. PubMed plus one. In simpler terms, a muscle-building breakfast may act like flipping a switch inside your body, improving your muscle responsiveness, insulin sensitivity, and metabolic drive. In this talk, we will not talk in vague eat more protein terms. We will dig into why breakfast can reverse muscle loss, how insulin, hormones, and liver health all tie in, and exactly which breakfast formula you can adopt to begin restoring leg strength in just one day. By the end, you will walk away with 6 science-backed insights and a precise breakfast protocol you can adopt immediately to reverse muscle loss over time. We will explore how to balance your nutrition across the day, which compounds and supplements can help, and how to shape simple exercises that amplify the effect. If this is helpful so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day so you can reclaim control over your metabolic health. Let us go deeper. Here is what most people never realize. Your muscles are not just for strength or movement. They are your body's largest and most powerful metabolic organ. Every single contraction, every step, every time you rise from a chair, your muscles act as an engine that burns glucose, balances hormones, and signals longevity. When we talk about healthy aging, we often focus on heart health, brain function, or nutrition. But here is what is really going on inside your body. Your muscle tissue determines how efficiently every other system works. When muscle mass is maintained, your insulin stays more sensitive, your mitochondria produce more energy, your blood sugar remains stable, and inflammation stays low. But when you lose muscle, the opposite cascade begins. Think of your muscle like a battery pack for your metabolism. A strong battery keeps all the internal systems charged. When it weakens, your body's power grid starts flickering, energy drops, fat builds up, and cellular repair slows down. Here is a simple analogy. Imagine your muscle fibers as thousands of microscopic factories. They use glucose and fat as fuel, and their efficiency determines how well your body handles energy. With age, many of these factories begin shutting down, less demand for glucose, less burning of fat, and more unused fuel floating in your bloodstream. That unused fuel gets stored as fat, particularly in the liver and abdomen. Now, research is confirming this link between muscle mass and longevity. A 2024 review in Frontiers in Aging concluded that higher skeletal muscle mass directly correlates with lower mortality and improved metabolic flexibility in older adults. Another large cohort study found that older adults with stronger leg muscles had a 40 to 50% lower risk of premature death compared to those with weaker legs. These findings underline one truth: muscle is not just about movement, it is about survival. What the research shows is that when you engage your muscles through resistance, walking, or even standing more, you activate molecular switches like AMPK and mTOR. These are the same longevity pathways that respond to fasting, calorie restriction, and nutrient timing. That means muscle activity literally communicates with your brain, your liver, and your gut microbiome to regulate your aging process. So, when people ask, what is the single most important thing I can do for longevity? The answer is simple: preserve and rebuild muscle mass. It controls your metabolism, protects your brain, supports your heart, and keeps your immune system resilient. But here's the challenge. After age 60, your body's ability to build new muscle protein declines even when you eat enough food. That is the start of sarcopenia, the gradual loss of muscle tissue that leads to weakness, slower movement, and frailty. It is not just a matter of eating more calories, it is about sending the right biological signal at the right time. That is why, in the next section, we will look at the hidden reason this decline accelerates the phenomenon called anabolic resistance. You will learn how your body's muscle building switch becomes harder to turn on with age, and how specific strategies, nutritional, hormonal, and behavioral can flip it back. If this breakdown is resonating so far, consider subscribing. I post content like this every day to help you restore your strength and metabolism naturally. Here is what is really happening inside your body as you age. Your muscles begin to stop listening to the signals that once told them to grow. You might be eating well, walking daily, maybe even lifting some weights, yet your muscle response seems muted. This phenomenon has a name: anabolic resistance. Anabolic resistance is the reduced ability of your muscles to synthesize new protein from the food you eat. In your 20s or 30s, a simple serving of eggs or chicken can rapidly turn on your body's muscle-building machinery. But after 60, that same meal delivers only half the response. It is as if your muscles have become hard of hearing. Let me explain this with a simple analogy. Imagine your muscles are like a construction site. Protein provides the building materials. The bricks, hormones such as insulin and testosterone, act as foremen, coordinating the work. When you are young, the crew is energetic, responsive, and ready to build. As you age, those foremen get sluggish, the workers slow down, and the blueprints become harder to read. The result: fewer walls built, less muscle gained, even if the materials are there. What the research shows is that several factors drive this anabolic resistance. One is chronic low-grade inflammation that interferes with muscle signaling. Another is insulin resistance, which blocks amino acids from entering the muscle cells efficiently. A third is reduced blood flow, meaning fewer nutrients reach the tissues that need them most. And finally, hormonal decline, particularly testosterone, growth hormone, and estrogen, makes your body less sensitive to protein and exercise stimuli. In practical terms, this means that an older adult might eat 20 grams of protein and see minimal muscle growth, while a younger person eating the same amount experiences a strong anabolic response. Studies published in the Journal of Physiology and Nutrients confirm this exact effect. Older muscles need a higher threshold of specific amino acids, especially leucine, to trigger the same rebuilding response. But here is the hopeful part. Anabolic resistance is not permanent. It can be reversed. What the evidence now shows is that you can resensitize your muscles to protein through targeted nutrition, time-restricted eating, and resistance training. In fact, even one bout of resistance exercise can temporarily restore muscle protein synthesis sensitivity for the next 24 to 48 hours. Another key insight is that the first meal of the day acts as a metabolic signal. If you start your morning with refined carbohydrates and low protein, your body stays in storage mode, insulin spikes, cortisol rises, and your muscle repair shuts off. But if your first meal contains the right amino acid profile and arrives at the right time, You literally wake up your muscles. Think of it as resetting your muscle switch every morning. This is why the timing and composition of breakfast matter far more for someone over 60 than for someone in their 20s. You are not just feeding your body, you are giving your muscle tissue an instruction. Now, we will explore this in depth, how the timing of your breakfast can turn on your muscle building machinery and begin reversing sarcopenia within just 24 hours. You will learn how your body's circadian rhythm, hormones, and insulin sensitivity intersect at breakfast to determine whether you lose or build muscle that day. Here's what the new science is showing us. The timing of your breakfast could be the single most powerful switch to reverse muscle loss after 60. This is not about eating more food. It is about when and what you eat first. Your first meal sets your metabolic rhythm for the entire day, determining whether your body spends the next 12 hours building muscle or breaking it down. Let me explain what happens physiologically. When you wake up, your body has been fasting for 8 to 10 hours. Your cortisol levels are naturally higher in the morning to help you wake up. Insulin sensitivity is also at its peak, meaning your muscles are most receptive to nutrients during the first few hours after waking. If you provide the right type of fuel during this window, you can take advantage of this natural metabolic sensitivity and jumpstart muscle repair. But here is the problem. Many older adults either skip breakfast altogether or eat what I call a muscle-suppressing breakfast: toast, fruit juice, cereal, or oatmeal with little to no protein that floods the body with glucose, spikes insulin, and turns off fat burning and muscle repair. In this state, instead of rebuilding muscle tissue, the body focuses on storing sugar and fat. What the research shows is striking. A 2024 study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that older adults who consumed a high-protein breakfast, around 30 grams of protein, experienced significantly higher rates of muscle protein synthesis than those who consumed the same amount of protein later in the day. In other words, the same nutrients were simply used more effectively in the morning. Why does this happen? Think of your body like a computer. When you start your day, your metabolic software boots up. The first set of instructions you give it through food determines which programs run. If you feed your system sugar and refined carbohydrates, it launches the storage program. But if you feed it protein, healthy fats, and micronutrients, it launches the repair and build program. Let us make this practical. The ideal breakfast to reverse muscle loss should contain roughly 30 to 40 grams of protein with at least 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine, the amino acid that triggers muscle synthesis. That might look like 3 whole eggs with an extra 3 egg whites, 1 scoop of whey or pea protein isolate, a handful of nuts or seeds for added micronutrients, and a serving of low glycemic vegetables or berries to stabilize blood sugar. This type of breakfast activates mTOR, the key muscle building pathway, while keeping insulin steady and cortisol balanced. It sends a clear biochemical message to your muscles. It is time to grow. Even more impressive, researchers have found that when older adults shifted their protein intake from evening to morning, not only did their muscle strength increase, but their overall metabolic flexibility improved. That means they burned more fat throughout the day and maintained steadier energy levels. Here is a simple way to apply this. Eat your first high-protein meal within 2 hours of waking. Avoid starting the day with fast-digesting carbohydrates. Combine protein with healthy fats like olive oil, avocado, or nuts to slow digestion and extend satiety. If you exercise in the morning, have your breakfast immediately afterward to take advantage of heightened muscle sensitivity. If this explanation is helping you understand your metabolism more clearly, consider subscribing. I share content like this every day to help you rebuild strength, energy, and confidence naturally. Here is what the latest research reveals. One single amino acid, leucine, can determine whether your body builds or breaks down muscle after 60. Leucine acts as a molecular trigger that tells your muscle cells, start repairing, start growing. Without enough leucine, even a protein-rich meal can fail to stimulate muscle protein synthesis effectively. To understand how leucine works, let me use a simple analogy. Imagine your muscles as an engine. Protein provides the fuel, but leucine is the ignition key. You can have a full tank of gas, but if you never turn the key, the engine will not start. Leucine is that ignition key. It activates the M2R pathway, the central control system for muscle growth and repair. Here is what is really happening inside your body. When you consume leucine, it signals a cascade of molecular activity in your muscle fibers, stimulating M2R to start building new proteins. This process repairs damaged muscle tissue, strengthens fibers, and increases lean body mass. But after age 60, your body's sensitivity to leucine decreases. That means the key needs to be turned more strongly. You need a higher dose to ignite the same response. The research is quite clear on this. Studies in the Journal of Nutrition and Frontiers in Physiology show that older adults need about 2.5 to 3 grams of leucine per meal to effectively stimulate muscle protein synthesis, compared to 1 to 2 grams for younger adults. If that threshold is not met, the signal to build muscle simply does not fire, no matter how much total protein you eat. So, what foods deliver this critical leucine threshold? The richest natural sources include whey protein isolate, about 2.7 grams of leucine per scoop. Eggs, roughly 0.6 grams per egg. Chicken breast, about 2.5 grams per 100 grams. Fish, such as salmon or tuna, around 1.8 grams per 100 grams. Plant sources like soy protein, lentils, and pumpkin seeds, lower in leucine, but can be combined strategically. Let us translate this into a real breakfast that fights sarcopenia. A simple, effective meal could include 1 scoop of whey protein isolate blended with unsweetened almond milk, 2 boiled eggs, half an avocado or a few walnuts for healthy fats, a small serving of berries for antioxidants. This combination delivers roughly 3 grams of leucine, 35 grams of total protein, and balanced fats for sustained energy. It is not only nutrient-dense, it tells your body first thing in the morning that it is time to protect and rebuild your muscle tissue. What the research also shows is that leucine works best when paired with resistance activity. Even light movement, such as squats, heel raises, or stair climbing, can dramatically amplify leucine's effect by activating the muscle receptors that take in amino acids. This is why nutrition alone is never enough. Movement and nutrient signaling must work together. Another key insight is that leucine intake throughout the day should be evenly distributed. Many older adults eat very little protein at breakfast and lunch, and then have most of it at dinner. That pattern leaves the muscles understimulated for most of the day. By shifting some of that protein to breakfast and lunch, you create multiple anabolic pulses that tell your body to keep building rather than breaking down. If this message resonates so far, consider subscribing. I post daily evidence-based insights to help you stay strong, metabolically healthy, and independent through every decade of life. Here is what is really happening inside your body. Your liver, insulin, and muscle form a tightly connected metabolic network. When one of them weakens, the others follow. And when one of them strengthens, especially muscle, the entire system improves. To reverse muscle loss after 60, we must understand how these three work together like gears in a well-tuned engine. Let us start with the liver. The liver is your body's central processing plant. It regulates glucose, stores glycogen, manages amino acids, and clears toxins. But as we age, fat can begin to accumulate inside the liver, a condition called hepatic steatosis or fatty liver. When that happens, the liver becomes sluggish and less able to release glucose steadily. This forces the pancreas to release more insulin to compensate, leading to insulin resistance. Now, insulin's job is to help move nutrients, especially glucose and amino acids, into your muscle cells. But when your cells become resistant to insulin, two problems occur simultaneously. First, your muscles stop receiving enough fuel and building material. Second, your body begins storing more fat because insulin remains elevated in the bloodstream. Over time, this combination leads to a cycle of weaker muscles, more stored fat, and slower metabolism. Here's a simple analogy. Imagine your liver as the power station, insulin as the electric current, and muscle as the machinery that runs on that current. If the power station is clogged with waste fatty liver, the current insulin becomes unstable and the machinery muscle stops working efficiently. You cannot build strength or burn fat if that system is short-circuiting. What the research shows is that when older adults improve liver health, insulin sensitivity increases and muscle regeneration follows. Studies published in Diabetologia and the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism confirm that individuals with less liver fat respond more effectively to dietary protein and resistance training. In other words, a cleaner liver equals stronger muscles. So how do we optimize this liver-insulin muscle triangle? First, focus on morning protein with minimal sugar. A high-protein, low-carbohydrate breakfast reduces morning insulin spikes and prevents excess glucose from flooding the bloodstream. This allows insulin levels to stay stable throughout the day, creating a more favorable environment for muscle repair. Second, include liver-supportive nutrients. Compounds like choline found in eggs, taurine found in fish, and antioxidants such as polyphenols from coffee or green tea help the liver metabolize fat more efficiently. A study in nutrients showed that choline deficiency alone can worsen liver fat accumulation, while adequate intake supports healthy lipid metabolism and detoxification. Third, add gentle fasting windows. A 12 to 14-hour overnight fast gives the liver time to clear stored glycogen and fat. This improves metabolic flexibility, your body's ability to switch between burning glucose and fat. Older adults who practice short daily fasting windows often see improved fasting insulin and better response to protein intake the following morning. Finally, do not overlook movement. Every time you contract a muscle, you pull glucose out of the bloodstream. No insulin required. That means even a 10-minute walk after meals or a few sets of leg exercises can dramatically reduce insulin load and improve nutrient delivery to muscle tissue. Here's the key idea. When your liver is clean, your insulin is calm, and your muscle is active. The entire metabolic system shifts from storage mode to building mode. Your body starts using nutrients to rebuild strength, not store fat. This is how older adults can restore vitality by repairing the communication between these three organs. Now that you understand the physiology behind muscle loss and how your body's systems work together, let us translate that science into a clear, practical routine. What I am about to outline is a step-by-step morning protocol designed specifically for adults over 60 who want to reverse sarcopenia, strengthen their legs, and restore metabolic health naturally and safely. Think of this as a blueprint for your body's rebuild phase. Every step reinforces the others: timing, nutrition, hydration, and movement. When you follow the structure consistently, your muscles begin to respond differently within just 24 hours. Step number 1. Hydrate before you eat. When you wake up, your body is slightly dehydrated from the night's fast. Dehydration alone can reduce muscle protein synthesis and impair metabolism. Drink about 300 to 500 milliliters of water before anything else. Add a pinch of sea salt and a squeeze of lemon if you like. The minerals help restore cellular hydration and support nerve muscle signaling. Step number 2. Delay breakfast by 30 to 60 minutes. Give your body a short window after waking to let cortisol naturally decline and insulin sensitivity rise. During this time, you can move lightly, stretch, walk, or do gentle mobility exercises. This primes your muscles to receive nutrients more efficiently once you eat. Step number 3. Eat the muscle-activating breakfast. This meal is the cornerstone of the entire protocol. Aim for 35 to 40 grams of protein with at least 2.5 grams of leucine. Here is an example meal. 3 whole eggs plus 3 egg whites, 1 scoop of whey or plant-based protein isolate, half an avocado, or 1 tablespoon of olive oil, a handful of spinach or mixed greens, a few berries for antioxidants. This combination provides the amino acids, healthy fats, and micronutrients your muscles need to begin rebuilding. Avoid pairing it with high glycemic foods such as bread, juice, or cereal. They spike insulin and shut off fat-burning pathways. Step number 4, move your muscles after breakfast. Within 30 to 60 minutes of eating, perform some gentle strength work to activate your leg muscles. This does not have to be heavy training. Bodyweight squats, stair climbs, calf raises, or resistance band work for 10 to 15 minutes is enough. Movement enhances amino acid uptake and increases the anabolic effect of your meal by up to 50%, according to research in Frontiers in Physiology. Step number 5, support liver and insulin function. Include compounds that aid your liver's detox and metabolic processes. Coffee or green tea with breakfast provides natural polyphenols that improve fat oxidation. You can also consider adding 1 tablespoon of ground flaxseed or chia seeds, which help lower post-meal blood sugar and improve insulin sensitivity. Step number 6, mid-morning recovery window. After your movement, give your body time to digest and absorb. Avoid snacking on carbohydrates during this window. Allow your insulin levels to stay low. This is when your muscle repair and mitochondrial regeneration are in full swing. Step number 7, stay consistent for 24 hours. The real magic happens when you keep this rhythm steady: hydration, protein timing, balanced insulin, and movement. Within 1 day, many people report feeling stronger, more energetic, and steadier on their feet. The biological changes, such as enhanced muscle protein synthesis and better insulin response, begin within hours. Here is a simple way to visualize this protocol. You are teaching your body a new rhythm. Hydration wakes up the system. Movement signals readiness. Protein and leucine flip the growth switch, and stable insulin keeps the signal alive throughout the day. If this plan is making sense and you are ready to rebuild your strength, consider subscribing. I post practical, evidence-based guidance like this every day to help you optimize your energy, metabolism, and longevity naturally. Let us bring everything together. You have just learned that reversing muscle loss after 60 is not about chasing supplements or eating more food. It is about retraining your metabolism. The science is clear. Your muscles are not passive tissue. They are active metabolic organs that determine how long you live, how strong you feel, and how efficiently your body burns fuel. Here's what is really happening inside your body when you follow the morning protocol we have discussed. Hydration restores your cellular environment. Movement primes your muscles to receive nutrients. A protein-rich breakfast rich in leucine activates the mTOR pathway, the biological signal for muscle growth, and a calm, well-functioning liver keeps insulin steady, allowing those nutrients to be used for building, not storage. Together, these steps form a biological reset. Within 24 hours, you begin to shift from muscle breakdown to muscle growth. Over weeks, you begin to restore leg strength, improve balance, and reignite your body's energy. Over months, you strengthen your entire metabolic foundation, improving blood sugar, reducing inflammation, and slowing the aging process. Let me recap the key physiological insights. Number 1, muscle is your body's longevity organ. Protect it and everything else works better. Number 2, anabolic resistance is reversible with precise nutrient timing and movement. Number 3, breakfast is your daily metabolic switch. Start the day right and your body spends the next 12 hours rebuilding, not storing. Number 4, leucine is the ignition key. Hit that threshold of 2.5 to 3 grams per meal and your body starts growing again. Number 5, the Liver-Insulin-Muscle Triangle must stay synchronized. When your liver is clean and insulin is steady, muscle repair thrives. Number 6, the morning protocol integrates all of this into one clear, repeatable rhythm. You now have the framework to rebuild muscle naturally, without drugs, without extreme workouts, without complicated diets. What matters most is consistency. Each morning you repeat this pattern, you reinforce the communication between your brain, liver, and muscles. You are teaching your body to stay in growth mode, not decline mode. So here is my challenge to you. Try this for the next 3 mornings. Hydrate. Move lightly. Eat the muscle-activating breakfast. Avoid sugar early in the day. Then pay attention to how your legs feel by evening. More stable, more energized, more alive. That is your body's way of saying, Thank you for finally giving me the signal I have been waiting for. If this content added value to your health journey, like this video and subscribe to join a growing community of people reclaiming their strength, energy, and longevity naturally. Remember, every muscle fiber you rebuild adds years of vitality to your life. Start tomorrow morning. Your muscles and your future self will thank you.